Spring and summer means more time outside for pets and their owners, and it's easy for pet owners to let their animals roam, sniff, and dig their claws into the earth after being cooped up all winter long. But snakes pose a great threat, and they're hidden in plain sight. So today I'm joined by Director of Veterinary Medicine at the Humane Society of Missouri, Dr. Jennifer Pearl, to talk about protecting your pet from venomous snakes. Thank you so much, Dr. Pearl, for joining Unscripted.
Yes, it's nice to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, so I think I might be among the majority of people, but snakes terrify me. My dogs, they're unfazed. So, as a pet owner, what can we do to protect them from getting bit and sniffing around and finding those slithery little friends?
Yeah, well, luckily, I find that a lot of dogs will avoid snakes if they can, so that works in our favor. But certainly, they can kind of sneak up on you. If you don't see them, they're well camouflaged or whatever. I feel like when out and about with your dog, it is always the best idea to have them leashed. I know it's fun to let them roam free and all that, but that's where the risk really is out rummaging in the leaf litter and going through brush and all that. So keeping them leashed is a good idea. It also keeps them safe from interfacing with other animals or other people on the trail or other dogs who might not be so friendly.
Mm.
Yeah, so that's really, in my mind, important. It also keeps them from running off, which is also a huge risk factor, right? That they get distracted, they run off, and you can't find them. And obviously, that's a scary situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so can you help me and my viewers tell the difference between a venomous snake and a non-venomous snake?
It's really kind of just observing their features of their head, right? So the venomous snakes tend to have a more triangular looking head, while the non-venomous, they're more of just a rounded shape of the snout and head shape. And if you can visualize their eyes, the venomous snakes are going to have like a elliptical type of a pupil. So it will be, whereas the non-venomous snakes are going to have a nice, really round pupil
Mhm.
going on.
Kind of that eye you see in the movies of the scary snakes is the
Yeah,
venomous one.
absolutely
Yeah.
correct.
Okay, so here in Missouri specifically, what are some of those common venomous snakes that we need to be on the lookout for?
Copperhead snakes, water moccasins, cottonmouth snakes, rattlesnakes are out there as well. And they've all got their distinctive markings, which, these days you can just look them up online and the Department of Conservation has great pictures of them.
Mhm. Okay, so God forbid, you have a cat or a dog outside, even a horse maybe. Just say you have your pet outside and it does get bit by a venomous snake. What are kind of the steps that we should take?
Well, I mean, ideally, you would be able to, like with not with your horse, of course, but for your horse, you're going to call the vet to come to you. But with your dog or your cat, ideally, you'd probably pick them up and transport them back to your car or whatever, and just get them to a nearby vet hospital for treatment. Usually, at the outset, the bites are pretty painful, so the animal's going to be distressed because of that, and they may not be willing to walk themselves out. And it's probably better if you just carry them out anyway.
Mhm.
And then once at the vet hospital, they're going to start some supportive care. Sometimes in the initial bite situation, it can cause their blood pressure to drop. So they're going to be lethargic and not feel well. And then the pain is going to be there. So the vet's going to work to support blood pressure by giving IV fluids. And then, of course, start in with pain medication immediately. And then in the next few days, it's going to become apparent, what's going to happen with the bite. There's going to be a wound that develops that needs to be managed
Mhm.
and kept clean, antibiotics if needed, that type of thing.
Mhm. And knowing myself and my family members, like if my dog were to get bit by a non-venomous snake, I would immediately take them to the vet. So in that instance, when it's a non-venomous snake bite, say you've seen, you've identified what the snake is, it's non-venomous. Is it still okay to take your dog to the vet even if it's non-venomous, or should you just kind of sit back and keep track of their behavior?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a good idea to get checked out. Getting bitten by a non-venomous snake, they have, a a row of very small teeth, almost like pins and needles, right? And so they'll engage, and it's going to hurt initially. It doesn't feel good to get bit by a snake, but it's a lot less severe, obviously. It's not going to cause nearly the tissue damage that a venomous snake causes. But, could potentially need antibiotics and maybe for the first couple of days, some pain medication. So it's not quite as urgent, but you might still want to have it checked out.
Yeah, always good double check. Okay, Dr. Pearl, where can our viewers go for more information and to kind of have this at the ready this spring and summer?
Yeah, I mean, again, the Department of Conservation is always a good resource. And just, honestly, Googling things like that at this point, you can come up with some very good information regarding that. And just knowing where your veterinary hospitals are at is a good idea, especially if you're away from home and you're not going to be able to visit your regular vet. You want to kind of know the lay of the land and where these services, where you can get them if you need them. And doing it beforehand, I think, is a good idea in that, if you get out of cell service area,
Hmm.
you're not going to be able to do it at that point.
Awesome. Well, Dr. Pearl, thank you so much for your time and thank you for joining me on Unscripted.
You're welcome. Thank you.